Dr. James Davis.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and it's a pleasure to follow the Honourable Member for North Herefordshire. As I indicated at the second reading in February of last year, I very much support this bill and the focus that the government is placing on our environment. I referred in February to flooding which had recently occurred in my constituency. Very regrettably, I must report that the heavy rainfall of Storm Christophe has brought further disruption to local residents and businesses. Last Wednesday, high waters flowing down the River Clwyd destroyed the 19th century Llanach Bridge connecting Trefnant and Tremerchian. I've already raised the future of the bridge with my honourable friend the Minister, the local authority and the Welsh Historic Environment Service Cadw. Such devastating events highlight the need for serious consideration of issues relating to water management. Increasing responsibility on water companies and local authorities to plan more effectively to manage flood risk is one way to reduce the impact of future floods, and I would ask the government to seriously consider the value of Amendment 42, tabled by my honourable friend, the member for Broxbourne. Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm pleased that this bill further contributes to the government's commitment to tackle air pollution. Clean air zones and the clean air strategy are important, as are the provisions in this bill, but I believe that more can and perhaps should be done. A number of amendments which have been tabled seek to push the government to improve air quality, including new Clause 6 and Amendment 2. The legal duty set out in this bill to set a target for concentrations of fine particulate matter, or PM2.5, can reduce the 36,000 annual deaths in Britain which are linked to air pollution, primarily through cardiovascular and respiratory disease. Air quality will improve as a consequence of our national move towards net zero by 2050, but setting a bold target can act as an important driver in the interim. There are many who believe that the government's target should match existing WHO guidelines and that this should be achieved by 2030. As the bill stands, the Secretary of State will commission independent expert advice on an appropriate target. I would suggest that those advising the WHO are perhaps some of the most qualified that there are, and I would gently press the Minister to ensure that we set ambitious targets rather than convenient ones. A 2030 deadline would be yet another commitment that we can point to, showing that the UK is leading the world on environmental standards. I acknowledge that setting targets is an easier task than achieving them, but another goal which the government can set is on plastic reduction. As new Clause 8 seeks to acknowledge, reduction of the use of new materials is important. However, more pressing still is the agenda promoted by new Clause 11, namely the setting of either long or short-term targets for the sale of single-use plastics. Key to meeting any single-use plastic target could be an efficient deposit return scheme. However, at a meeting with me last year, British Glass raised concerns that in Germany, Finland and Croatia, the inclusion of glass in DRSs has led to an overall increase in the use of plastics. Such outcomes in the UK would of course be disappointing. Delivery of a DRS could also be supported through the use of technology. In December, I wrote to the Minister inquiring about the use of barcodes and mobile phone apps to deliver a digital DRS, which could help reduce street litter. I would value further engagement on this important issue. Madam Deputy Speaker, in the year that we host COP26 and chair the G7, this bill is essential to show the United Kingdom's true commitment to the environment. I hope that ministers will consider the well-intentioned amendments which I've spoken about and trust that progress of the remaining stages of the bill will be swift.